Islam and peace and blessings. How do I flip this camera? I didn't do that fan base today because I got to set that up a different way because I didn't know people just could follow me without my permission. Now, after this class is over with, and y'all just put yes or no in, I'm take whoever got the most yeses and nos. We can go straight into the question answer session at 4. Or if y'all want to, y'all can just wait. It's up to y'all. Just put yes or no. Y'all want to do the questions and answers at 4? Because I'm about to do the class right now. Let me have to turn this around. This is what we're going to talk about, too. Can't rotate my phone for what? Okay, now, this is what I want to talk about today. Because this really is what started everything. So we actually need it crystal clear. Now, first, this is what incorporated the Moorish Science Temple Mary. Now, if you look at this number up here, right? 10105905, right? This number has been our tax exemption since 1928. No one just has never used it. Now, lately, since the Moors been watching the videos, which is a beautiful thing, you got the Moors in New York using it. You got the Moors in Florida using it. You got the Moors in Tennessee using it. We use it in Chicago. It's getting used in Indiana because my mother uses it in Indiana. That's where she at. Now, if this has been our tax exemption since 1928, 10105905 now, because we're using it, present day. Why are different temples going to get incorporated as 501c3s and getting a tax exemption from the state that only applies to that state that they're incorporating in? Every other state they go into, they got to redo some paperwork and get a tax exemption. This is tax exempt all over the United States of America, globally, since 1928. And then it's on the Form 1099 because, okay, just say it's a regular 501c3, a church. They still have to take their document in. It don't matter if it's Subway, Walmart, or wherever, because it works everywhere. And they have to get him a copy of this because each store, whether you write a check or whatever, has to report to the IRS the form of payment and explain why no taxes was charged. So all they doing is making a copy of this. Like when I did that Lorderer video, when we was at Lorderer, all they did was make a copy of that. And that's how they explain. That's why it's on the 1099. Form number 1099. For them to report to the IRS. We don't have to report to the IRS. Why? Because I called them 3 times, right? 3 days back to back because I wanted a crystal clear understanding. So I asked them, because once I filed this to the IRS, right, they're going to change your name and everything. All you're doing is giving them notice. It's an information return. You got to remember, in 1928, there was only one Form 1099. Not 22 like it is now. It was just one Form 1099. So this is how they report your different payments and all of that. When I talked to the IRS for 3 days straight, I asked them about this tax exemption number. And they specifically said, and I want all y'all to call and ask them, whatever I do, I'm going to tell y'all how I did it, and I want y'all to do the same thing, because it's really that easy. They said, yes, this is a tax exemption number, but it does not come from them. It doesn't come from the IRS. Even though it's tax exempt, this number was not issued by them. You got to remember, if we're a sovereign theocratic government, right, it says members of the family of nations. So if you look that up, LexisNexis, Cornell Law, whatever legal website you use, just type in members of the families of nations. So it's going to tell you every member of the family nations has the same sovereign rights as every other member of the family nations. So instead of the Moors thinking we got to go through them for everything, Drew Ali said he gave us everything. Just exercise what he gave. We don't have to go through them for nothing. Even with their banking, okay, that don't apply to us. If Drew Ali said take all your money out the bank in 1928, it's 2026. Why would you be trying to put some money in the bank, in their banks? That just don't make no sense. And then you see down here it says, now this is Drew Ali Temple. I'm not talking about the 501c3s. I'm talking about this Grand Major Temple specifically. The temple built without the hand, sound, the action, or hammer. Okay, this charter says we're supposed to appoint and consecrate missionaries of the prophet. Why? Because when you do that, it's like the Vatican sending missionaries over here. They're considered foreign missionaries under international law and have international protection. And it's both religious and political, just like the Vatican. The Vatican was incorporated in 1929. The temple itself, under international law, over here is considered a foreign mission. Both a religious foreign mission and a political foreign mission. Remember, it's a body politic, which means political, and our body corporate is religious. The reason he did that is because they cannot pierce our corporate veil. Under their Constitution for the United States of America, religion supersedes politics. Religion is the supreme law of the land. Religion is the sovereign political power under their Constitution. So what Drew Ali did was just combine both into one document like the Vatican. But this don't say nothing about appointing no divine ministers and all that. This says missionaries. He set everything up specifically for a legal purpose. All we supposed to be doing is following what he said. Drew Ali ain't never said nothing about no divine ministers or none of that. It says we're supposed to appoint missionaries of the prophet. That's what they are. They're supposed to be foreign missionaries. Now, a lot of the Moors, when they keep signing this document, they're signing as sheiks. But if you're saying you're a sheik, okay, a lot of y'all is not sheiks now. I'm just going to keep it all the way real. Y'all keep saying y'all sheiks and all that, but y'all not teaching what a sheik supposed to be teaching. Y'all not moving the way a sheik supposed to move. Y'all can't even explain the basics. How the hell is you a sheik? Half of y'all should be signing down here as foreign missionaries under one of the sheiks. Because everybody's not no sheik now. A whole lot of people ain't no sheik. Because the sheik's supposed to be on here teaching the law, National and Divine Creed, Act 6. That's what you're supposed to be teaching. Both, not one. And then it say, now, you notice how right here it says a copy. See, what Drew Ali did was gave us copies of his original. That's why I say copy. If you go look at the original, it has R stamped right here, right? That R means it was actually registered under the Torrance system of land registration. That's what that R means. It's registered. And then over here it says printed and sold by Chicago Legal News Company. Because that was a part of the law then too. And then it says, I, Noble Drew Ali, do solemnly swear at the top of the original. But when he gave us our copy, it says Moorish Science Temple of America do solemnly swear. So it's like, in actuality, this is what it is. It's a promissory note from a government, just like they fiat currency. It's a promissory note from their government. That's what it is. That's why he switched it up like this and it looked like this. Because this is actually our money for real, but that's going to be in a later on class. But right now, y'all, all y'all need to do is look up cashier's check, pre-1933. Now, pre-1933, when this was incorporated, right, under this Torrance statute, this Torrance Registry Book 521, page 579. If you go read the Torrance statute, it say once your certificate of title is issued, you can make any trust that you want. So what Drew Ali did was use Herge Revised Statute, Chapter 32, which allows you to form any corporation or business trust. Remember, the title of that statute is Business Organization and Religious Corporations Act. That's how we're able to do business in the name of the temple. He wasn't just saying do business. This authorizes us to do it. This is how we do business in the name of the temple. It's a business trust. And if you look it up, look up pre-1933 business trust incorporated on Herge Revised Statute, Chapter 32 in Illinois. This is what they're going to say. If you have a business trust incorporated pre-1933 under Illinois Herge Revised Statute, Chapter 32, it is still subject to the gold and silver standard. That's what they said. Any law they passed after 1928 is an ex post facto law, and it does not apply to members of this temple. And a business trust can issue what's called cashier's check. A cashier's check is a check written that has to be signed by the trustee. You're going to write cashier's check on there, and you're going to write the amount on there. See, a cashier's check is not, you're not personally liable. They're not charging your personal account. They're charging their account. Because if you go ask any lawyer, right, because we done asked several, this number is an account number, 10105905. So all the temple doing, which was our trust bank, pre-1933, is they're charging their own account for whatever you want. And they say cashier's checks are used to buy large things like houses and cars. But you have to study this as knowing in your mind that he really did give us everything, take a save nation, take and save yourself. Because thinking we got to go to their banks and all of that, their bank's a commercial bank. Our bank is a trust bank that holds real estate, real property. This is what, everything is this. This document like 50 different things. That's why I just keep studying it, because if Drew Ali say take all your money out the bank in 1920, it don't make no sense to open up no bank account. You got a lot of more still talking about opening up bank accounts with them, but that wasn't the instruction we was given. He said take your money out of the bank. Oh yeah, when I get finished with this class too, right? I see Zuel and V Hunter L on here. You know how you can share the video? As soon as I'm done, share it to your text or your email. So after all the videos, y'all always have a copy of the video, because you can't share it to your Messenger or Facebook, because then it becomes public and everybody get the lessons. Now this say, but this is the book of the Lamb the Injil was talking about. Remember the Injil, the book of Revelations? It said that you say you're going to have the book of 7 seals, which you have to be found written in. And you're going to have the little book, the book of the Lamb. Remember he ate it and his stomach was bitter? But it says you had to be found written in that book too, because it's just a contract. You do have to be found written in him. You got to be found in that trust. Because you can't even use, this is a statutory business trust. That's what they call it. And the only way you can charge this trust as the trustee is if you're statutorily appointed to do that by this statute. This ain't like some rinky-dink thing Drew Ali just put together out this clip. This is it caused the Great Depression. Let's remember that part. It caused the Great Depression. All they did in 1933 under the New Deal, and the reason they waited till 1933 is because under the Torrance statute, once your certificate of Torrance title is issued, which is this, book 521, page 579, whoever has an adverse possession claim has 5 years to make it. 5 years from 1928 is 1933. They couldn't make no adverse possession claim. Just read the statute. So they had to come with the New Deal. That's what they did. But even if you read the New Deal instead, just listen to everybody, right? House Joint Resolution 192, that's what everybody, the UCC patriots talk about. Man, it specifically says it does not apply to foreign nationals. It only applies to U.S. citizens, 14th Amendment citizens. Drew Ali specifically say the 14th and 15th Amendment had nothing to do with us. And it didn't. We're foreign because we're Moorish, and we're nationals because we're American. We're Moorish American. We're foreign nationals. That's what we are. Every member of this temple. Now, if you incorporate under 1934 rules and regulations, which a lot of the temples did, then yeah, you subject to the New Deal because you incorporated under the New Deal. That's what happened. We didn't incorporate under the New Deal. That didn't have nothing to do with us. That had something to do with the U.S. citizens. And it said, if you was a foreign national, you didn't have to turn in your gold and silver. That's what makes us still under the gold and silver standard. That's why Drew Ali set his prices like he did, though. It's 50 cents for this document, so he'll make sure you're always paying 50 cents in silver. The Moorish or the nationality card is 25 cents because you're always paying in silver. We're under the gold and silver standard. We're not under the fiat currency. That don't have nothing to do with us. But I'm going to get that part to Javel Bay because Javel Bay is good at banking. So he'll probably know how to use this document for anybody else for our purposes. Because all we got to do is use this document. And I'm just about saying this is a cashier's check for real, for real. And it said if it's a cashier's check, they must accept it. They can't refuse it. But if we don't know what it is, we'll say possession is 9/10 of the law, but the other 1/10 is knowing. Then we go into, I think the religion part is what's throwing everybody off. See, under Islamic law, them the temperature rises pound authority from great Quran Muhammad. Every Islamic government on earth is a sovereign theocratic government that derives its power and authority from the great Quran Muhammad. Every single last one of them. And how the Ottoman Empire tricked everybody when they sent the Holy Quran to Moorish Science Temple America, the Muslims in India, Egypt, and Palestine. Drew Ali incorporated in 1928. The Sultan of Mecca is stamped in that book. Saudi Arabia was founded in like 3-4 years later, 1931 or 1932. So if they honor Saudi Arabia as a sovereign theocratic government, because it derives its power and authority from great Quran Muhammad too, then they ain't had no choice but to honor us. But they had Drew Ali come over here and do that first before they did that over there. And that's how that went. It's like you got to think. We've never went to Europe to learn nothing, not a goddamn thing. They always came to Northern Africa, Arabia, Lhasa, Tibet, India to learn from our people. We ain't never went to learn nothing from them. So it's easy for our people to outthink theirs because all their lessons came from us. We taught them everything. They didn't teach us nothing. No time in history did they teach us nothing. And remember, when you sign this, you're agreeing to everything in here. This is a 5-page legal document. This was the county record. Everything in here was accepted as the truth by the whole world. So as truth, you're accepting. You're a subject of the Sultan of Mecca. Sultan of Morocco is just another title given to Sultan of Mecca. You can look that up too. I want y'all to look up everything I say and ask questions. Because that's the only way you're going to know something. But don't just ask me questions. Ask yourself questions, too. Ask yourself common sense questions. Okay, why is this on the Form 1099? That's a common sense question. What is this SS number up here? You got to ask yourself all these questions, be honest with you. And I'm trying to think. Okay. And I understand a lot of the Moors don't want to be Muslims, right? But that's what we are. We're under Islamic founding nations, not European founding. Remember, they said we do not desire to amalgamate with the pale-skinned nations of Europe. That's what the divine instructions say. We're returning to Islam that was founded by our ancient forefathers for our earthly and divine salvation. That's what the lessons say. That's not what I'm saying. And then there's different ways to use. See, it depends on what you're doing, how you use this, and how you fill it out. Okay, my fault. Because there's different ways to use this depending on what you're doing. So it's different ways to fill it out also, depending on what you're doing yourself. Just like with the courts. You don't have to go in there and argue with them about nothing. Fill this out correctly and send it to them with an order. And they're going to obey it. The judges don't argue this or nothing. One time we sent it in here, right? We didn't know you had to file it with the county recorder. We had just signed it. So when the court responded, they said it's not authenticated. That's what they said. So we're like, what you mean authenticated? It took us a whole nother year to figure that part out. It has to be filed with the county recorder first when you're sending it to the court. Because that's what authenticates it. Because they're going to give you a piece of paper to say, wait, hold on. I'm about to show you the piece of paper they give you. They're going to give you a piece of paper to say, now this is a certified copy of mine. Wait a minute, let me flip the camera for y'all again. Now in this certified copy they sent me, right, this is my file. They're able to scan that QR code. You can actually scan it off your phone, honestly. And then they give you a unique reference number, which is all letters right here. Okay, then they give you QR code for they people could scan it. And they go straight to your record. But look what they say. Pursuant to Illinois rules of evidence and federal rules of evidence. The attached document is certified by Monica Gore and Cook County Clerk to be a true and correct copy of an official record or document authorized by law to be recorded or filed, and actually recorded or filed in the office of the Cook County Clerk. That's what the state of Illinois say in the certification. This meet every rules evidence, state and federal. That's the purpose of doing this. Once you do this, 21 days later, you can get you a certified copy to where they can just scan it. But on your original, they can just scan it too, and they put the transfer stamp tax right here. That's what it is. Because they're the transfer agents. They're transferring the property. It's just like with your birth certificate, though. See, your birth certificate is filed with the county recorder also. Why? Because it's a real estate transaction. You got to remember, the birth certificate is transferring your right of publicity. Under the law, your right of publicity is real estate. That's what it is. That's why your birth certificate is filed with the county recorder office. They just don't tell nobody that. So all you doing is another real estate transfer. That's why you got to get the transfer stamp tax. That's the barcode that they put on here. It's called a transfer stamp tax. The county recorder is the transfer agent. Anytime you file any document with the county recorder, it's a barcode on it that they can scan, even your birth certificate. And it's considered to give world notice. Filing with the county recorder gives world notice, not just over here, world. But these lessons we not taught. And then once you become a member of the temple, see Heard's Revised Statute, and I want y'all to look that up. Hold on. Heard's Revised Statute, Chapter 32, Section 108.75. Look that up. It only applies to religious corporations, and I want to say they said benevolent corporations. It don't apply to everything that's incorporated under that statute, because you can incorporate business trust. You incorporate any corporation under that statute. It applies to all corporations. But by us being a religious organization, 108.75 applies to us and all our members. Now, if you read that correctly, because this is how I get people out of jail. I'm going to tell y'all the truth. It says the corporation indemnifies you and insures you, because it's saying indemnification / insurance, from any civil, criminal, investigative, or administrative proceeding, rather threatened, pending, or completed. See, once you become a member of the Drew Ali Temple, everything you did before that ceases to exist automatically. But you got to always know law governs all events. So if you're not studying this, and you're not actually knowing what you're talking about, then you really don't know what you're doing. Man, that's the easiest way I could put it. Law governs all events for real, but you have to know the law. Heard's Revised Statute, chapter, and it gives us absolute immunity. See, everybody keeps saying diplomatic immunity. Okay, the original term is legal immunity. That's what it's called. Diplomatic immunity is a form of legal immunity. That statute gives us absolute immunity from any civil, criminal, investigative, or they can't even investigate you. Rather threatened, pending, or completed. That's what the statute says. That's why you do all business in the name of Noble Drew Ali the Temple, because you're staying within your statutory protection. You don't leave outside of your protection. Everything Drew Ali told us was for a great reason. We just have to ask ourselves questions, look stuff up, and be able to mentally comprehend what he said. Because he was not talking just to be talking at all. Everything he said was the truth. He said, Moors, you're just plain rich. We are. If all the land is registered to us, and this is a business trust that holds the land, and 1010-5905 is the account number, let's figure out how to use that. Because everything else is not making no sense today in 2026. It's just not. We too far behind. And everything is really just follow what Drew Ali did and figure out, why did he say this? Why do this look like this? Why is this set up like this? What do he mean do business in the name of Noble Drew Ali, the Moorish Science of America? Because you know it's 2026. The only way we can do business in his name is if he incorporated himself, correct? And that's what he did. He incorporated himself first. Because you got to remember, under Islamic law, legal person, what they call straw man and all that, that don't exist under Islamic law. You're a trust called a wakaf. He was a wakaf Ali over there. When he came over here under Illinois state law, it's just like a bishop incorporating himself. He can hold property, he can do all that under Illinois law. It's called a religious corporation sole. That's what it's called over here. They recognize legal persons over here under their Roman civil law. Islamic law don't recognize that. That's why as soon as you're born, you have to have your genealogy in your family booklet. Your genealogy is what verifies you're not no legal person. But if you got a birth certificate, your genealogy says your mama was a legal person, your grandmama was a legal person, your granddaddy, everybody else in your family is a legal person. So you have to be able to have your own record with you, because that's your record after you sign that and register that. That's the only record you have in existence. It wipes out your whole history. You're no longer a U.S. citizen. You yourself. You got to be yourself. But the first step is belief. I don't think the Moors actually believe Drew Ali did everything he did. That's why, instead of just following him, boy, they so quick to follow the European. Look, our buttons are our badges. But you got Moors making up badges to look like theirs. It's like, mentally, a lot of us are still slaves. We don't have to have nothing that looks like theirs. Period. We got our own. You just have to know what you got and be who you say you are. Because a lot of y'all keep signing this document talking about sheik, right? I'm going to go right back to that. When you say you a sheik, you're saying you're an officer of the temple. Just like they got their county officer, state officer, city officer. The only difference is you have statutory authority. This is your delegation of authority. And it completely supersedes theirs. That's why if you're in a car with me, right, I don't have to be driving. And I got witness to this, and I'm going to put them on there probably later on when I get over there. Okay. You don't have to have driver's license or nothing. All I have to do is be in the car with you. Because Drew Ali tied the treaty into everything, too. A lot of people don't know that. There's no reason for you to keep bringing up the treaty. Because if you in court because they got you as 14th Amendment citizen with a social security number, right? So you can't say just out the blue, I'm a Moor. I proclaim my nationality. Prove it. Where is the law to say that you a Moorish American, you're a member of Drew Ali Temple? That's why the Moors be having so many problems getting out of court, because you went in as one of their people and you trying to come out as somebody else, but you don't even have no legally binding document to verify that. Because anybody can just wake and say, I'm a Moorish American, I'm a Japanese American. Okay, where's the legal proof at, though? Law governs all events, period. And I can't stress that enough, neither. Everything has to be legal. And it has to be binding on the whole world. This document is binding on the entire planet Earth. The entire planet Earth accepted this as the truth, except the Moors. See, you got to remember, even in the book of Romans, right? Because you got to read that Bible, because it all go together. It's here right now. In the book of Romans, it talks about those who are under law, Roman law, and those who are under grace. Everybody's not under the law. Now, see, remember, we fell from grace because we accepted the teachings of those who were cast out. That's what the lessons say. Okay, when we fell from grace, that means you was banished to exile. Remember, Mecca is just a modern day name for the Garden of Eden. We was cast out of there because we accepted their teachings. Okay, so someone would have to issue what's called an act of grace for us to come out of exile. So I want y'all to go to y'all's law dictionary and look up the word act of grace. It says when a new sovereign takes authority, which in 1925 Sultan Abdulaziz ibn Saud did. He took the throne of Mecca from Hussein ibn Ali. That's who the Sultan of Mecca was when Drew Ali was anointed, El-Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali. In 1925, Sultan Abdulaziz ibn Saud took over. In 1927, the whole Ottoman Empire, the Muslim India, Egypt, and Palestine, with the Sultan stamped in there verifying it, issued what's called an act of grace. That's what the Holy Quran and Moorish Science Temple is. In legal terms, looked it up, act of grace in the law dictionary. We are under grace. We are not under Roman civil law. Divine instructions specifically say Jesus came to remove everybody from Roman yoke and law. So I don't understand how the Moors are saying we're Moorish Americans, but we're still subject to their laws. That don't make sense, because you might as well stay Negro, black, and colored if that's the case. What's the difference? The Negro, black, and colored subject to their laws, and y'all saying the Moorish Americans is too. So what the hell sense it made to proclaim your nationality? It don't make no difference. They can't make it make sense. And then Drew Ali is the underwriter. And this two statutes. You got to remember what an act of state, because that's what this is. A torn certificate of title right, rather you incorporate it in California or wherever the judicial decree is issued, Illinois, is guaranteed by the state, is state-backed. So this is an act of state and an act of religion. It's both religious and political. The temple is a body politic and corporate. That's what the statute says. The body politic is political. The body corporate is religious, the Moorish Science Temple of America. He took both powers under their constitution, combined them into one. So he got all the power. And then if you really understand this document, you got to understand, by this being a torn certificate of title, and it's registered, that's what that R mean on the original, right? The Great Quran of Muhammad is the supreme law of the land. Drew Ali made the Great Quran of Muhammad the supreme law of the land. That's what he did. And it's an act of state. It's state guaranteed. So even in the court of law, they cannot argue no act of state. But if you don't know what you're saying and you're just babbling like you're in Babylon, that's when they get you. They be like, okay, he guessing, or somebody might have told him something. Yeah, we just going to keep playing with him. No, ain't nothing to play with. They can't play with this. They can't question this in no court of law, period. That's why he said, I got charters to issue to every state throughout the United States, etc. He said he got charters to issue all over the world. He said membership in the temple is free all over the world. So y'all keep trying to minimize it to like it's just here. No, this is international. So guess what? We're going to have some classes on international law also. Because you got to think, the Great Quran of Muhammad is what's called customary international law. And it's legally binding everywhere. But these are things you have to know, though. Just from studying. And there's a lot of studying. Don't get that twisted, man. Because everything has to make sense. And you have to know how to use these documents. I want Java Bay to look at this document and look up cashier's check. From a business trust pre-1933 incorporated in Illinois. That's how I be looking stuff up. I always say pre-1933 because I know this document is legally retroactive to 1928. How? Because they told me. He said, if you ask an intelligible tone, you will get an intelligible reply. But if you go in that Babylon now, it's like you in Babylon, so they're going to treat you like you in Babylon. Just go ask questions that make legal sense. And don't go aggressively, because you ain't going to get no intelligible reply. And then you got to know why is 50 cents, why did he make this 25 cents? And he said you can't change the prices. A lot of more is changing the prices on the documents and everything. You got more charging $5 for the nationality card. How it go from 25 cents to $5? Everybody just got to follow Drew Ali, period. First, you have to meet that first step, belief. Because faith is what you know is the truth. I know I done reached that stage. Faith. I know this is the truth because I use it. I use it in court. I use it everywhere I go. Stores. And you can even show the Moors this right now that incorporate this 501c3 and tell them to just go use this as a tax exemption and ask yourself, why would you go get another tax exemption years later from the state when this tax exemption been tax exempt since 1928 when we incorporated? Why would you need another tax exemption? And why would you even settle for that? Because you got to know you outside of what Drew Ali did if you use another state giving tax exemption. Our tax exemption ain't from the state or the IRS. They said this is a foreign tax identification number. Our right to be tax exempt does not come from the Internal Revenue Service, period. It's called a FTIN, Foreign Tax Identification Number. And that's like even if you go read they statutes, right? See, the way they got their federal jurisdiction set up, okay, you have to be a 14th Amendment citizen to even go under their federal jurisdiction. Why? 18 U.S.C. Section 7. Look that up. 18 United States Code Section 7 specifically states anytime you're on federal land, a federal bill, which includes courts and all that, automobiles, planes, whatever, if it's federally owned, you are under the special maritime and territorial jurisdiction of the United States. You're not even on land no more. They made a statute to take you off the land and put you on water. That's why if you go into a federal district court arguing the Constitution, the first thing they're going to say is you cannot raise constitutional issues in here. You can't, because the Constitution is only supreme law of the land. That's what it says, not the water. But if you don't know these things, and you don't know what jurisdiction, you don't know what statute they operating on, it's like you just, you guessing. You a sovereign citizen for real. Sovereign citizens just guess. That's what they do. They guess. You can actually just say, I'm a citizen of the USA, and they cannot take you under 18 U.S.C. Section 7 jurisdiction. Why? Because it will obliterate the Constitution for the United States of America. See, as a 14th Amendment citizen, you are not a citizen of the USA. You are a U.S. citizen. There is a big difference. The only thing they're going to ask you is, what is your nationality? That's it. You're not subject. It's easier than that. Because remember, this is body politic and corporate. The corporate is religion. You can go into court and say, La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. I bear witness there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. That is a religious and political objection inside of a courtroom itself that a judge cannot object to, cannot overrule, or none of that. Because you're saying, okay, let's go back to the Bible. The book of Judges. Judges were appointed over the children of Israel only. The 13 children of Israel. Not the Moabites, not the Hittites, not the Canaanites, not the Hamathites, not the Perizzites, not the Jebusites. Nobody but the children of Israel. Why? Because that's the only nation of people on earth that say, I don't want Allah to be my God. I want a human God that I can see. That's what they said. So judges was appointed over them. Judges wasn't appointed over us. When you go, the judge means God. So you can go into their courtrooms and just obliterate everything in so many simple ways. It's not, you don't need a whole bunch of 1,000 motions, and because you're entering a jurisdiction when you do that. Because you don't know that. You don't know better. You don't got to do none of that. Judges wasn't appointed over no Moabites, Hamathites, or Canaanites. We ain't asked for no human God that we could see. Allah is our God. He's our Father and God. That's what the lesson is saying. And they say don't ancestor worship. It's impossible. If Allah is my Father, the only thing I do is ancestor worship. But them rules only apply to their people. Judges was not appointed over. You can go in there and say your genealogy that's in here. Because this is actually your legal genealogy once you sign it. You demonstrating Abraham, Boaz by Ruth, Jesse, King David, Solomon, Hezekiah, Joseph by man. Look, go to the Fifth Circuit and look up this case. It's called U.S. versus Fox. They locked him up, right? Because he created his own passport card and was trying to cross into Canada, right? So when he went to court, all the man said was his genealogy. I want y'all to read that case. So it's U.S. versus Fox. All the man said was his genealogy. That was his only reply. And the judge said, because that was your only reply, you do have the right to make your own passport card. Threw the whole case out. That's how strong your genealogy is. because that's where your birthrights come through, your genealogy. We demonstrating Abraham, Boaz by Ruth, Jesse, King David, Solomon, Hezekiah, and Joseph. That's our genealogy. Y'all know that, right? Under Islamic law, everybody has to have a genealogy, period. What else we got? I guess I'd explain that too. Members say, okay, when Jesus said, it is finished, right? It says, Jesus bound them apart. Now, we demonstrate in the Holy Quran of Moorish Science Temple America when it says that. That binds them in part. Why? Because it only binds their federal government. It didn't bind the states. Our treaty with them in 1786 was only with the 13 U.S. colonies, not these states. So Drew Ali took our authority and made it a statute legally binding on every state throughout the United States and the whole world. And it derives its power authority from the great Quran of Muhammad. Remember, Jesus bound them apart. Muhammad removed the head of Satan. This removes their head. I'm going to tell y'all what I mean about this. Wait a minute. This removes the head. This. How? When it comes to a statute, I want y'all to look this up. A judge cannot reason, will, think, or understand what your actions of the soul, correct? They don't have the authority to do that when it comes to the statute. The only thing they can do is ministerial, which means exactly what the statute says, period. This is how he removed the head of Satan. Muhammad removed the head of Satan. And I want y'all to type on here too, because it's 2:48 now, right? So when 3 o'clock hit, I'm going to shut it down. But if y'all want to go into the question and answer session, we can do that at 4 or 5, depending on how many people want to do that at 4 or 5. So I need y'all to just type in 4 or 5 in y'all's responses so I know. And don't forget, when this video is over with, push the little share button down there and share it to your email or your text so you'll have it, just in case it's not on here. Even though most of the videos is still on here, though. I tried to repost all of them earlier. I just had to go find them. And the Moorish Holy Quran has to be signed in the back. Because, I don't know, I think by everything looking like it's religious and us being secularized over here so long with the separation of church and state, our brain can't comprehend that under our laws, it's all one. It's not separated. So even with the Moorish Holy Quran, you have to sign that. The covenant of the great God Allah on the last page, you have to ratify that covenant. Because in chapter 1, it says that's a covenant we broke. That's how we fell. That is your divine salvation. Those are divine instructions. You have to ratify that covenant. Why? Because it's called legally. Look it up in the Black's Law Dictionary. It's the covenant running with the land. The land's in chapter 47. The covenant of great God Allah is honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the earth land which the Lord thy God Allah hath given thee. That's the covenant running with the land. In any contract dealing with land, if it's a covenant running with the land, you have to sign that covenant or it does not apply to you. And it's just that simple. And it's a lot for us to go through, too. That's why there's going to be so many classes, because it's just a lot to teach. But it ain't just teaching, it's y'all understanding what I'm teaching. Or it don't even make no sense. You have to understand how to stay out them people's way and how to make them stay out your way. It's just really that simple. You got brothers in jail that need help, all that. I understand that, but anybody, me or anybody else pull out of prison, you're responsible for them. So it don't make no sense to go get no idiot because there's enough idiots out here free world already. Leave them in there. Tell them get themselves together. Hell, you ain't put them in there. They want you to get them out. And we not the only people that could do that. Freemasons could do that. Eastern Stars could do that. But they gonna tax you. Period. And you probably ain't gonna have enough money to pay what they want. Because it's like they said, you have to know how to free yourself from slavery. Because that's what it is. The 13th Amendment says slavery is abolished unless duly convicted of a crime. So once you go into prison, you're in slavery. So you have to know how to free yourself from slavery so you can never be enslaved again. That is what the teaching is. That's why Drew Ali said you have to save yourself. Because if I save you, still ain't going to know what to do. Period. All you're going to know is he saved, man. I had to pay such and such, such and such. But you still not going to be, you end up right back in the same predicament. What else did I want to talk to y'all about real quick? I talked about the birth certificate, why it's filed with the county recorders. Marriage license filed with the county recorders. Because like you're merging property when you get married. Because you're merging your right of publicity with your husband and wife right of publicity. So it's like property is being combined. So they make you file that in their property records also. Them is property records. But we don't know that because nobody never told us that the right of publicity to look it up and read it here. Because all you got to do is look it up and read it. Your right to use your name, image, likeness, voice, and signature in commerce is real estate. It is your right to privacy. That's what it says. That's what made all us public at birth. Because they took our right of privacy at birth. Because our parents didn't know no better. I'm trying to figure out all these lawyers and all these. Why ain't nobody teaching them? This is what is supposed to be taught to all of our people. Not what they teaching. UCC has nothing to do with us because we're under real property law. Article 9 says that. And it's an ex post facto law. Let's throw that up there. The Federal Banking Act in 1933 they did. When they separated commercial banks, which are federally insured now, because the FDIC didn't come till after that. And then if you're doing investing bank where you can underwrite stocks, bonds, and all of that, they separated and they made it illegal to do both. But if you was incorporated pre-1930, that don't have nothing to do with you. You're both. The temple is both. You do commercial banking and investment banking with the temple. That's why he said do all business in the name of Noble Drew Ali. Matter of fact, his exact words was do all business, comma, everything in the name of Noble Drew Ali or the Moorish Science Temple America. And then was his instruction in the Humanity pamphlet. Or was it in the Moorish literature? It was in one of them. But then was his just straight from Drew Ali. But if we're not listening to the prophet and we listening to everybody else, then we're going to be astray too long. I'm just keeping it honest with y'all. We already astray too long. It was 2026. And it's almost hard to believe that we still going through this. And then you got Moors trying to undermine what Drew Ali did, minimize it to where it just apply here and only apply to this certain group of people. What he did applies to the Asiatics of America. That's what it said. That man said he got the Asiatic and the European in a jar and the stopper in his hand. So you just got to ask yourself, what did he mean by that? And make it make sense. Don't try to undermine what he said like he just lip sync, because that's a problem too. The Moors speak about the prophet like he was just over here lip sync, like he ain't had nothing to do with his life. He just over here lip syncing. And he wasn't. He was teaching. Law governs all events. And then a lot of the Moors, I don't know. I guess Moors is different Moors everywhere, but I don't know how. Because only one temple, one Allah, one temple, one prophet. Drew Ali didn't say he guided the destiny of the Moorish Science Temple. He said Allah alone guides the destiny of the Moorish Science Temple, man. Period. And he said it would be the Moors in 2000 that come in with their eyes open, set the old Moors in the back, and run the temple correctly. So from 2004, according to what Drew Ali said, the Moors have not been running the temple correctly. And I ain't going to argue with that at all. Because because they're running like it's a church. And it's not. It's a body politic and body corporate. What's the difference? The body corporate is the Moorish Science Temple America, religious. The body politic is political, politic. That's what it means. It's religious and political, just like the Vatican and just like every Islamic government on earth. Every Islamic government on earth is political and religious. It's a sovereign, theocratic government. Morocco, Algiers, Tunisia, everybody. That's why they say we're equivalent to the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. Because you got to think, they never said they was the founders of the Holy City of Mecca throughout history. They specifically said that they are the custodians of the two holy cities, not the founders. When the Ottoman Empire sent the divine instructions over here, the Muslims in India, Egypt, and Palestine, they said the Moorish, who were the Moabites, are the founders of the Holy City of Mecca. The whole Ottoman Empire said that. They said were the founders of Morocco, Algiers, Tunis, and Tripoli. That's what they said. Which means what? We're heirs to every throne on planet Earth. That's what that means. Legally. Period. Now, I want y'all to send what y'all want to do, have the questions and answers at 4 and 5, or let me know what y'all want to do, because I'm about to end it right now. It's 2:57. Islam and peace and blessings.